Hello, my name is Kenan Raz, and today I will be presenting on my persuasive speech, which is the state of Belize's education. I would like to ask my fellow class which country they love the most. Hopefully, it's Belize because you know that Belize dafi alawi. As we know that Belize is a tiny, often dismissed country in Central America that is bordered to Mexico and Guatemala. Sadly, Belize is classified as a third world country, and we have a lot of problems with our country, such as poverty, crimes, politics, and many other major problems. The one that stands out and could ruin Belize's future, the educational system. Out of all of the Central American countries, Belize's system isn't really the strongest. Reason being that many parents are not sending their children to school, many dropouts from different schools, and the setup and infrastructure of the system. First, let's talk about why parents are not sending their children to school. There are two main reasons for why parents are not sending their children to school. It can be that parents don't have enough money due to the rising of prices and tax, or they just don't care about their children. Imagine not caring about your own child and blood. I personally would feel bad for them. I understand the fact that money is hard to come by these days due to everything going up in prices. Everything that we used to buy are now expensive. Consumer price increased by 4.5%, imports up by 49.3%, and domestic exports down by 18% in February 2022. I know that 4.5 does not seem like a lot for certain people, but trust me, it's bad. Like, really bad. Some people can't even eat due to the rising of these days. So they don't have enough money due to the government has even cut everyone's pay. The second reason being that parents are not caring about their children. Some parents not caring about their children can happen because of two main reasons. One, the pregnancy was unplanned, and two, that the parents of the parents did the same thing to them, which caused an influence for them to do the same. I find that very sad. I understand that the pregnancy was unplanned, but at least take responsibility and raise the child right instead of leaving them there just to suffer. Not because your parents did the same thing to you means you should do the same thing to your child. I find that not right. But the world is harsh at times. Maybe the government should put something in place for it to help them. Like, the pantry service that they used to have. Or stores that have products that are cheaper. And also, the government should also put a law in place for the neglected children, because as we know that the children are the future of Belize, and if we mess up them, then we will also mess up the future for Belize. As a result, students are now dropping out of their schools. Now let's talk about the amount of dropouts out of schools. Due to the recent events with COVID-19, a lot of parents lost their jobs and can't pay for their children to go to school. Young high school males have been dropping out not due to choice, but mainly poverty. Many students nationwide could not enroll in online classes when the country switched to an online educational platform. Due to this, schools like Gwenliz had around 500 students enrolled there. But now, due to the recent events, there's only roughly 200 students there. That is basically a 40% decrease in enrollment at that school. Now, that is very bad for the school and the society. Maybe the government should put something in place for these students as well, because these students will have all the time on their hands to do anything that they want. They could probably join gangs or probably do something something really bad. Since now these students have all the times on their hands now. And that's all because of our infrastructure, because there's nothing being put in place. Now, let's lastly talk about our infrastructure or our setup of our educational system. There are three stages of Belize's educational system. There is the primary, secondary, and the tertiary. Belize's educational system is mainly based on the British education. I'm not saying that the British education is bad, and I mean, a lot has changed since COVID-19 hit us. Like, hybrid learning became a thing, and I know that hybrid learning isn't really bad, but it also affects other students and how they learn. Currently, the adult male literacy rate is 82.33%, and for the adult female population is 83.04%. And for this, that there's nothing being done that much. All this being done is that some students are having like evening class or classes on the weekend, but that's not really helping them much. And teachers aren't really changing their teaching style. I feel like there should be other classes, like specifically for them to help them learn, like because you know that everyone doesn't learn the same. People learn by doing it or not. So to me, I just feel like because of this, not a lot of people are really learning, and Belize's literacy rate isn't really the highest. So to end off, Belize isn't really a bad country. We just suffer from a lot of problems. But to me, that's pretty normal because every country suffers from their problems that they have. Even superpower countries like the US even suffers from their own problems within their country. But our problem just mainly focus on our educational system. Because for some reason, parents are just not sending their children to school. Students are dropping out due to certain reasons now, and that our infrastructure doesn't really help students who are not capable of doing stuff that they can do. But I know that our problems are really hard to fix, but it isn't impossible. And maybe it will take some time to be done, but it is not hard to achieve, and maybe with your help we can make a difference.